Hello there.
I am the king!
What's up, Headless Horde? Welcome back to another live on Sunday night, and we're talking some Game of Thrones tonight. We thought it might be a little bit of fun to do some top 10 characters. So what's up? What's up, Anthony Blaze? That is a 5-minute intro. Yes, you are correct. That is tomorrow night, so that will be on Ryan's channel. All right. So yesterday went to GalaxyCon Columbus, and I met the one and only Rosario Dawson. Amazing. She's awesome. So I got her to sign my Funko Pop. There we go. And then she did a quote on the side. And this is from The Mandalorian. You can see that. It basically says, I like first, good or bad. It makes things memorable. So there you go. So that's pretty cool. So that's a new addition. And actually, I did have her sign my Hasbro Black Series figure too, with the same quote. So tonight we are, we're talking Game of Thrones. We're gonna do our top 10. I got a couple special guests, and what's up, Umpty? How you doing, buddy? Yes, and a link there that Ryan just put in. I will be on the Luau tonight. What? 2 lives in one night? Who is this guy? So I'll be, I'm excited to join Luau in a little live. He'll be starting at 9:30, so I'm pretty excited for that. But yeah, so let's get this thing started here. My first guest, he's all the way in England, the UK. He roots for England in that sport they call football, or is it soccer? I don't know. Us Americans, we don't know. Anyways, the one and the only, Mr. Ryan Milky. What's up?
What's up, dude? How you doing?
3-0 they won today.
Easy.
Peasy. So they scored more goals in one game today than the United States scored in 4.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, that's awesome. So,
But I don't mean to brag, but we do come from a country where football is a religion.
yes, I know that.
Know, so we were expected to do better than America. But yeah, no, it's been good. It's been great. I've been loving it.
So who do they play next?
France, the title holders, the current title holders, France.
Okay. So
they played earlier today and they won 3-0.
So they both won 3-0 then, huh?
They've got Kylian Mbappe and stuff, and he's a deadly goal scorer, and yeah, it's going to be a hard fight.
So now that we're down to 8, right? Because it was 16. Yeah. Okay.
Well, there's still a couple of other round of 16 games to play. Like
those games. Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, we shall see. We'll keep our eyes on that.
Definitely, Saturday will be the next game for England. Saturday.
Now, I just have to wait a whole week.
Yeah.
Almost a week. All right. So my next guest, not dressed up tonight. It's a little disappointing. I'm gonna be honest. People expect a certain quality when they come to these live streams, but we're so glad to have her. It's Lily Afire with no voice tonight. What's going on?
But this is Cersei here. This is Cersei Lannister here.
Wait. Can that be a spoiler for earlier rankings?
And you could just show us the glass that you're drinking out of and then say you're Cersei.
Exactly. I have my little goblet and everything.
Headless is in a attire that's Game of Thrones. I'm in a attire that's Game of Thrones.
Mm-hmm.
And we have Cersei with us, so it's pretty much fine.
Yes, this is the new House Targaryen signal shirt or hoodie from WB, 20% off on Black Friday. I was like, I gotta get it.
I love it.
Nice.
Yeah, it came out. It's nice. It's a little thicker. Well, actually, it's not too thick, but it's nice though. Yeah. So we have some rankings to do, and before we get started, so next Sunday we're going to do our least favorite characters. Now, let me premise all of this by blowing. This is this is all personal opinion for the 3 of us. So you're going to see some big differences because I am the one who created the slideshow, so I pretty much know both of what you guys did, and I know what I did, obviously. And so you guys have no idea what it looks like right now, but there are some really big differences. There are some characters that maybe one person has, and the other two people didn't even think of in the top 10. So it's kind of funny. It's actually really interesting to see. But no, I don't want to spoil anything else. Because I think we're gonna have some heated debates tonight, though. But tonight we're doing our favorites. Again, all personal preference. Next Sunday we're doing our least favorites. Again, this is just has nothing to do with like are they good, are they bad, just whoever you like. So let's see here. Oh wait, I got a question here. Umpty, you were in Columbus, Ohio, and didn't meet LJ. LJ lives in Columbus?
Yeah.
I didn't even know that. Huh? I didn't even know that. Yeah, I was only up there for one day though. We drove up yesterday at 8, and I got back about 9. So we were there for about for 8 hours. That's 4 hours of driving though. So we were there for about 7 hours though. But I just dropped a video on GalaxyCon Columbus. Go check it out. My whole interaction with Rosario Dawson, it's about 3.5 minutes long, is in that video. So it's really cool. She's awesome though. All right, so let's pull this up here. And chat, you can weigh in as well. If you go ahead and start making your little list right now. Make a little list, top 10, and then see if you agree or disagree with what we got.
And while you're making that list, don't forget to hit the like button on the stream.
Yeah. Smash it. Don't even hit it. Just smash it.
Yeah, you could just hit it like Oberyn's face, but yeah.
Ooh.
You murdered her. You raped her. You slaughtered her children.
I literally just watched that episode this weekend too. I think it was Friday. I was watching that episode. So good. All right. So our top 10 characters. All right, guys, here we go. We're going to start off with number 10. And when you see it on the screen, you'll see who's picked who. All right. So 10th favorite for Ryan Milky is Giant's Bane. That's my boy Tormund right there, who is going to be at the Game of Thrones con next Saturday, which I'm so upset I can't go to. But
like, I could literally be a double for him right now. Like, you know.
Yeah, I mean, you
literally.
like let's put it this way: if we put Torrent, we put oh crap, it's already been 2 weeks. I already forgot names. Durin in a room. Ryan Milky, you might be what comes out.
Yeah,
you're like right in between.
Yeah, I'd happily be a love child of Durin and Tormund.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So Tormund. So tell us why Tormund made your top 10, because obviously he's at the bottom. So what's the reasoning why he's not higher? How did he make it?
He is purely there because I wanted him to be in the top 10, and he is the most comedic value I get from the entire show. He makes me laugh so much with his one-liners. You know, where's the big woman at, and how he's in love with Brienne, and he doesn't quite say it. He's just brilliant. You know, the story that he gives us where he's drinking the goat's milk in season 8. You know, season 8 has got its flaws. Don't get us wrong. Well, you know, I'm sure that's another live stream that we'll get onto another day. But you know, there's definitely a lot of comedic value in those final episodes, and he definitely brings a lot for that. So yeah, he deserves to be in my top 10.
Yeah, you know what always confused me with this character a little bit? I feel like when we first meet him in like season 2, like I don't get that comedic part of him, and I feel like it really starts in season 5. Now that I'm kind of rewatching this entire thing, he's not very funny in the first 4 seasons, and again, you can kind of see a little bit in season 5. So I always thought that was an interesting turn. And I mean, again, you read the books, right, for all this.
Mm-hmm.
So in the last book that George printed, do you get the fact that you get the sense that he is supposed to be that comedic presence?
No, he's not comedic in the book
at all, right?
No, I wonder for the show.
Yeah, so I wonder how much Dan and Dave did that, because he does. He really, really, there's almost so much. Like you almost every time he speaks in the later seasons, you almost expect it to be funny.
Mm-hmm,
I guess but like in seasons 2 and 3, like, and even 4, I don't see that at all.
I kind of see it happening after Ygritte goes. Once Ygritte leaves the scene, he kind of turns to like Jon's best friend.
Yeah. I always thought that was pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Good evening, there, Nadia. How are you? Baby Ice in the house. What's going on? Reef, what's going on, Reef?
Reef.
Oh, there we go. That's the one I wanted. Cool. So yeah, let us know in the chat if you which one of these three. If you want to go do it this way, you can choose which one of these three you think is number 10 for you.
Yeah, so you guys in the chat can agree. Yeah, you guys can pick who you agree with in the chat.
Yeah. So Lily, you have this beast of a dragon right here. This is Drogon. So why did Drogon make your top 10?
Well, it was hard for me. I love Drogon, but it was hard for me to pick a creature over a person, like an actor. And I had a couple others in my top 10 spot first. And then I couldn't let it go. I kept booting him out. And I'm like, no, I have to have him on my list.
Yes, I know at one point you did submit a list and you had Alina in there.
Elena
from House Tyrell.
Yeah, I love her. And I had Samwell Tarly in there too, but I bumped them both. And I like Tormund too. And I didn't even think about him. And now I'm kind of like, but I don't know. I still don't think he could bump some of my other people.
When I seen Drogon, I was surprised.
How come?
Just because I get it, but I don't know. He doesn't really do much. He's the most animated of all the dragons.
He is.
But I think he gets more screen time because of that. I think it's designed that way. But I don't know. He's cool. But yeah.
I mean, I think they do a really good job, especially obviously out of the three dragons, Drogon definitely gets the most play. So, but he definitely has his own personality. Like I said, it's funny. I'm just rewatching this entire thing, and the beginning of season 4 when she's sitting there on that rock and she's watching the dragons kind of fly around, and Drogon's kind of like almost like a little puppy dog in her lap, a very large puppy dog. Mm-hmm. But you still see that she goes to I think she's feeding him something or something like that, or a piece of meat or whatever it was, and Drogon kind of turns at her and is like, "Whoa!" And then he kind of realizes like, "Oh yeah, I better not bite the hand that feeds me." Even though as he grows bigger, he doesn't need her to feed him. But I love that scene because it really shows even some of the character development of just that Drogon shows, and obviously being a CGI character and not being real. I think they do a fantastic job with Drogon. And that's why one thing with House of the Dragon I love so much is that I like how we're seeing all of the dragons, and they're definitely unique, and they definitely all have their own personalities. So I'm really curious to see how that's going to move forward in season 2.
Mm-hmm. And I definitely like Drogon. Still, I think I still like later season Drogon than any other dragon we've had yet.
Yeah, I agree with you.
In House of the Dragon and Game of Thrones, I believe that Drogon is still the best and most ferocious looking dragon so far.
Yeah, it's funny. I was actually reading an article just when I was trying to find pictures, and this article popped up about who is bigger and stronger, which is Smaug or Drogon. And I'm like, oh, now there is a video idea. So I might dig a little deeper into that, but I don't like what the article is saying.
Yeah, I have a very big disdain for Smaug.
Yeah,
but that is. I will give you my thoughts for your video you're making.
Yes, very good. So for number 10 for me, this was a tough spot because there was about 7 characters I wanted to put here, and I was literally going back and forth all afternoon, and I landed on the Night King because even though this guy says not one line, I feel like the entire series is because of him. And even though we don't even get to see the Night King, I believe into season 4, because the first 3 seasons we see some of the White Walkers. We literally don't even see this guy till like the end of season 4, but I think the entire show is almost because of him, is why so much stuff is happening. So for me, he's a great character. I'm still disappointed that we never got to see him versus Jon like we wanted. But yeah, that's my reasoning for number 10. So neither one of you guys had Night King in your top 10. Yeah. So what, obviously there's a lot of characters to choose from, but why would so I guess my question to you would be, why would you not pick a character that is basically why the show exists? Because if it wasn't for the Night King, I don't even know if we would have a show.
Well, for me, it's just basically because of the other people that I put on my list.
Yeah.
I just love them so much, so that I didn't pick him. But he would be another contender with Drogon for me for that last place. But I was telling you how I just watched that documentary, The Last Watch, which was
Yeah.
about like the behind the scenes of season 8. And the actor that played him was on it. And when all the fans were out there, like simultaneously, they all went. And it was like, it was moving. And I was like, oh, and I love the guy that plays him so much too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So let me preface my thoughts by saying we are literally breaking down our top 10. I could probably do a top 30.
Yeah, I know. I agree.
So just because they're not in my top 10 doesn't mean I don't like them. He's brilliant. But for me, I completely disagree with your statement that without him, there is no show. For me, the whole preface of the story is Daenerys making her journey to the throne. The Night King is a side B plot compared to that storyline. She is making her way to the throne. She almost gets there and goes, oh, I've just met Jon and I now need to help Jon go and do his thing at the wall. It for me, it doesn't make any difference.
Yeah, no, I get that. I mean, there's obviously 3 or 4 main storylines, but
yeah,
you know, it's just like we hear, you know, Ned Stark say in the first episode, "Winter is coming," and then you know, and even the entire series opens up with the scene with the White Walker. You know,
I completely agree with you in every statement.
Yeah,
I agree and disagree, but that's why we're doing this whole live stream, you know, to have these conversations.
Yeah, it's just fun. I just thought.
I wish he spoke though. I wish.
Yeah, I know it would be cool, but. Yeah, it is.
And there's no such thing as a Night King in the books. It's like a mysterious place. It's a figure. It's something that you don't really see.
Oh, really? Huh.
Yeah.
I didn't know that either. That's interesting.
Yeah, there is no Night King that walks down from from his place to Winterfell and have that battle at Winterfell. That was all made up.
So the name Night King isn't even in the books?
Kind of, but it's referenced. As like the king of the night, it's the king of, you know, in the lands of the frozen north.
Oh, okay, that's interesting. Huh? I would never have guessed that actually. All right, number 9.
Never thought I'd be dropping book bombs tonight.
You are dropping some book bombs. So number 9, Lily picks Khal Drogo. I went with Tormund here, and Ryan goes with Samwell Tarly. So Lily, beside it being Jason Momoa, why did you pick Khal Drogo?
That's it.
That's what we think.
I could not have him on the list because this was life-changing for me the first time I saw Khal Drogo on screen. I told you before, I didn't know they created human beings like that. And I mean, he's somewhat of an important character, even though he was just in there for 2 seasons or whatever. But it was awesome, and it was a huge part of the story too. But yeah,
all right,
that's it.
Yeah, he. I think he was in like 7 episodes. Well, he did have his cameo like in season 2 or 3 or whatever. But Umpty agrees with you that he thinks the actor is cool. Vladimir Furtick, is it?
Mm-hmm. He was a stuntman.
Yeah. So I went with Tormund here. A lot of the reasons why Ryan said. I love that. I mean, I do love the fact that he was more of a serious character, and then they kind of turned him a little bit into more of that, you know, that the comedian, battler, fighter, or whatever you want to call him. But you know, his dialogue with Brienne is just phenomenal. It really does lighten up the story. You know, for me, I think him and Tyrion are probably the 2 funniest. And well, you can't forget Bronn. Bronn is pretty funny too. But you know, those 3 for sure are, you know, is what makes the show, you know, at least not be so dark all the time, because it is a pretty dark show overall, you know. And then Ryan, you chose Samwell. So go ahead and tell us why. A guy who he kills one person. He kills a.
It doesn't matter if he kills one person. He gets the Gilly. That line is the best line ever.
Ooh, Gilly.
And he killed a Then.
He did kill a Then, yeah. And he finds out about the dragon glass, and he's very, very important to the storyline moving forward. What can I say about him? He is such a sweetheart. He's the one guy I would have physically cried for if he died in this show. Like, you know, a lot of people in this show. Yeah. A lot of people get upset when people die in shows, and Game of Thrones is brutal for that, and nothing really hit home. But if Sam ever died in it, it would have hit me hard, because Sam was like, the fat guy that you didn't think could, but actually does. And
Yeah.
I kind of see myself in him a little bit if I was in that kind of world.
Yeah, Samuel is definitely a good character. It's funny in the first couple seasons, I find him super annoying and just I'd wanted him to get killed. I'm like, I can't take this dude. But like, when they're voting in season, I think it's season 5 actually, in the beginning, when they're voting for the new the 998th Lord Commander, that he stands up and he basically announces that Jon should be in the running and all that. It's such a great scene, and ever since that, his character becomes stronger and stronger with every season until the last season. And like you said, he's the one who helps Jorah. He's the one who helps Jorah with the grayscale, right? So yeah, again, another character. Unfortunately, I just couldn't get him in the top 10 for me, but he's right outside of the top 10 for sure.
Mm-hmm.
All right, number 8.
Fine looking setup of 3 gentlemen there.
That's right. Number 8.
Oh.
So I chose Ghost. Milky takes Bronn here, and Lily has everyone's most hated character as number 8 as her favorite.
Look at that smoke grin on his face.
I mean, the best thing about Joffrey is that he dies from poison, and that's fantastic.
That's true.
So, let's see here. Michael Price has something to say about Sam. He says Sam was, I think, in story, and then let's see, I'm trying to read that, Michael. Succeeds in his own way. I see. Yeah. So it was. Yeah, he's been tough. If Sam was cold off. Yeah. I mean, if Sam didn't die, dude, it would have absolutely crushed Jon, and it would have crushed the audience. To me, he and like Hodor, like I hated when Hodor died. It was so, but he did it in such a
don't. I can't even hear his name still.
I know he did it in such a great way, and I know it's terrible, and so I picked Ghost. It's not so much Ghost in like seasons 2 and 3 because he's really not in it that much. But Ghost in season 1, he takes out the White Walker, and dude, so here's the thing with Ghost. Again, another CGI character. This is now we've had 3 characters. I've had 2 CGI on my list, but Ghost is obviously the best direwolf. When he is trapped in that cage and he's like left there by Jon, like I'm like, dude, what are you doing? And don't even get me started in season 8. Okay, like I was like, as long as Ghost doesn't die, I don't even care if Jon dies at this point. Like I just want Ghost to live. But every single scene that Ghost is in, he crushes it. Like I love in season 4 and episode 9, when they're fighting at Castle Black. And he basically goes, Sam wants to help, Jon. He's like, I need you to go get him. I need him more than I need you. And Ghost just comes on and crushes it, dude. It's fantastic. So for me, I had to put a direwolf in there because it's the signal of, am I saying that word right? Sigil of House Stark and Sigil. That's what I'm looking for. Sigil. Thank you. Yeah, he's the sigil of House Stark, and I think Ghost is just a badass. What's up, Abe? How you doing, man?
Abe.
Any rebuttals on my CGI characters?
Well, I just think if you don't have Drogon somewhere on your list and you do have Ghost, something's wrong. But if you have both of them, okay, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I'm wrong then.
But do you have another creature?
I have Ghost on my list.
Ah.
But he doesn't have
Drogon. He just didn't make my top 10.
Yeah. Okay. No, I have nothing else to say about that.
Well, then I don't need. Yeah, you have Ghost on your list, so we'll get to your thoughts on Ghost when we get there. Then, all right. So tell us about Bronn being number 8 for you.
So Bronn from the start was and continued to be the comedic value, apart from obviously we've just said about Tormund, but this was down in the south. This was the pretty boy with that, you know, he could back up his own words. Like, he could, if he said he was going to kill you, he probably could. And he was always by Jaime's side all the way through it, even though Jaime did some bad stuff. You know, later on in the season, of course, storyline made them separate and stuff, but he always was kind of loyal to Jaime. A great dude, a great actor for one, you know. And I knew before going into it that as an actor, he was actually married to Cersei Lannister's actress in real life.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Bronn and Cersei were together in real life.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and they got divorced, and they actually never share a scene with each other ever in Game of Thrones history.
Because they couldn't get along?
Because they couldn't get along because of their divorce, yeah.
He's never in the same scene as her?
Yeah, I as far as I'm aware, and I could be wrong, but I've said this many times before, I don't think Bronn ever shares a scene with Cersei. Ever.
That gives me a reason to watch it all over again.
Mm-hmm. You just finished it.
I know, literally yesterday.
You don't need a reason to yeah, you could just replay it. It's live. But yeah, that's a true fact that they were married.
Huh. I didn't know that.
Lena Headley and Robson Jerome.
I have him on my list too, right?
Maybe. You don't remember your list?
No, I don't remember my list, but I have to have him on my list because he's one of my favorite characters too. But yeah, he's hilarious. And we've talked about like different people fighting each other or who we would pick to fight for us. You know, I think always pick him.
So your combat to the death would be trial by combat would be Bronn.
Yep.
Yeah,
nice.
I think Jon Snow might be the only other character I take over him. Even though I would take Oberyn, but just got to make sure that he's not voting for vengeance. or have
any slippy floors. Make sure that you've got solid, firm ground.
Yeah, you want any slippery floors. All right, so explain yourself, Joffrey.
Well, neither one of you have Joffrey on your list as a top character.
No, not at all.
So, because to me, first of all, season 4 and very controversially, season 7 are my two favorite seasons. And yes, Joffrey dying is one of the best scenes too. He's such a good villain, and it makes this show so great to hate a character that much. And the things he does is what makes those episodes so good. He's so awful and he plays it so well. He's an excellent character. So I don't love him like I love Jason Momoa. I mean, Khal Drogo or Drogon, but he's still so important to the story.
No, I get it. Because I was, again, he was another character that was right on the border there for being 10, but I really wanted to make sure I was picking the characters that I loved watching on screen, and he just fell right off of the end there. But not that I didn't love watching him on screen, but again, there's so many characters. Sometimes it's hard to just do a top 10, like Ryan said.
And I've never seen him in anything else.
I don't know.
I'm not 100% sure. I kind of took with the premise. It was kind of I took 10 people or 10 characters that I would have been upset that we lost. Like I love them, you know. Mm-hmm. And then next week we're gonna have our least favorite characters, and that'll be people like I would have happily seen die. So of course, you know, Joffrey's gonna be in that list and stuff like that. In next week's one.
Okay. All right. Number and Umpty did say he did confirm what you were talking about. So they both agreed to be in it. They weren't in the scene together. That's crazy. I didn't even know that. All right, number 7. So let's see. Ryan, you picked. This is an interesting one. When I saw this, I'm like, wait a minute. I took a double take. I'm like, wait, what? Milky takes hot pie. Lily, there's your Bronn.
Yeah.
And then I have Drogon here. So I had Ghost at 8, and Drogon is at 7 for me. So Ryan, hot pie. Is he even in more than 10 episodes? Which I guess it doesn't really matter. But explain why hot pie, because I didn't even think about this guy.
Really?
Yeah. He's not. I don't think he's in it enough for me.
Yeah, I never would have guessed him either.
I think he's very important in Arya's storyline. Very important part of Arya's storyline with guiding her in the right direction, giving her wisdom without even knowing it, You know, like he pulled her up in the cavern and he was talking to her and he spotted who she was, and even though she was hiding, trying to be not seen, you know, when he found her, I don't know. He's just a really cool guy, and a lot of people, you know, a lot of people forget about him. You know, my own panelists kind of did, and you know, admitting that they did, and I don't know. I like the characters that are niche. You know,
See,
a lot of people. So just to go on one niche character, a lot of people love Eddie from Stranger Things, right?
Yeah. Yes.
And they're all like, oh my god, Eddie. I'm sorry, he was in Game of Thrones first, and people forget that he was even in that. Same with the Mandalorian. Everybody loves the Mandalorian.
Yeah.
You don't remember he was actually in Game of Thrones first, you know? And yeah, I think we'll see Hot Pie in a something coming probably soon, and everyone will love him, and they'll be like, hey, that was Hot Pie.
So I guess I was looking at Hot Pie, like, where I would be looking at characters like Hodor, and I would take Hodor over him. I was looking at Hot Pie, like, and then this is when you submitted your list to me, and I was just kind of thinking, I'm like, okay, so what characters would I like kind of compare him to? He's more of a background character. I understand the reasons why you like him, but I'm just like, man, you have him over Hodor even, and that's I guess that was my big one. But yeah, I mean, hey, you know, it's all in fun, and you know, it was definitely a different character that I saw in there. I'm like, wow. But then again, I have two CGI characters in mind. So.
Yeah, and with the Hodor thing, it still hurts to even say his name, and I'm genuinely not joking. It still hurts to say his name, so even typing it was hard. So I don't even think he's in the list for me. Hodor specifically.
Yeah. What's up, bud? How you doing, man? And Hojo.
Thanks for stopping in. And Hojo.
Thanks for watching.
You need to smash the like button like Hodor would.
Yes, fantastic. And I love your profile pic too. All right, so Bronn, we kind of talked a little bit about him. Ryan had an 8, you have an 7. So do you want to add anything?
No, all same reasons. Yep.
Okay. Yeah, and Bronn's awesome. And then for Drogon, kind of like I mentioned when Ryan had him up at number 10. Number 10, right? Or who am I at number 10? No, not Ryan. Lily. You had him at 10. Yeah. Again, I just think that the growth of making a dragon feel like a real character in a show like this that doesn't talk. And again, there's so many different scenes, like when he's like a little baby, and you could see that Daenerys to me, it reminds me of like a little puppy that she has. You know, myself having 2 little puppy dogs, like I totally get it. And I think that's really why Drogon resonates with me the way he does. You know, same thing as Ghost. It's the same thing. That's why I'm so mad at Jon all the time. But because Jon doesn't treat Ghost very good in season 8.
He's super important to the story too. You know.
Oh yeah.
Daenerys couldn't have done anything that she did without him.
Yeah. What was Daenerys going to be able to do without those dragons? You know, nothing. Especially when Khal Drogo dies. You know. But yeah. So. I'm kind of surprised, Ryan, honestly, that when I saw your list, you didn't have Drogon in there, and I'm like, man, you're the dragon guy. Like, I was actually a little shocked on it, to be honest with you.
I'm surprised too.
Yeah.
Game of Thrones is all about character development, and dragons are mass weapons of destruction, CGI. I get it; they're cool. I love dragons. I've always, you know, everyone knows that. But yeah. I could probably do a top 10 dragon list. Genuinely.
I mean, you can. It's okay. You can admit you fucked up. It's all right.
Yeah, I did. I fucked up.
Number 6.
My top 5 are okay.
Number 6. Again, Lily. Remember now.
Well, Joffrey made you mad. I know how you're going to feel about this one.
She's a little dark. I mean, she like. Let's just say that she wishes she was Dexter sometimes, I think.
I love Ramsay. I love him.
So we have Ramsay at number 6, your 6th favorite character. I'm throwing out Arya here. And I'll be completely honest with you. I had Arya at number 4, and I dropped her a couple. And then Ryan, you have Ghost at number 6, which I love it. I love it. So we'll start with Lily. So Ramsay Snow, who does become Ramsay Bolton. You have 2 psychopaths in your top 10. I'm worried about you.
You should be. So
I'm not. I like you even more.
he played this so good. I even looked up to see if he won an award for this and everything, because I just think he played this so good. And every time he's on screen, it's just like, I love it. Every line that he delivers is perfect. It's awful. He's a terrible, evil person. But he's great to the story. He's what made Sansa so much stronger, even though I'm not the biggest Sansa fan. He was a huge part in her arc as well. And Theon, like that whole story was really dark, but really amazing. And so I love him.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, Ramsay's awesome. He he might even be worse than Joffrey. As bad as Joffrey was, this dude might be worse.
I think he's worse.
Yeah, and what he does to Theon, like it's rewatching those couple episodes where he almost he makes Theon think he's actually trying to help him, and does that. He makes him run around the woods and stuff, and ends up coming right back to where they were. And then it's so evil. Like, I remember the first time I watched it, I didn't quite know what was even going on. I'm like, why did this dude just do this? Now watching this series like 6-7 times through already, like it is amazing how they just threw that in there. And then you find out that he's Roose Bolton's son too, on top of that. Because Roose Bolton he's a jerk too, but yeah, I agree.
Battle of the Bastards is one of the best episodes too, I think.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Ryan, what do you think about Mr. Bolton here?
Oh, he's brilliant. I don't want to say too much because he's a little bit higher up on my list.
Yeah. Okay.
He's fantastic though. I want to say one thing, that he is Joffrey, but turned up to 10. He's Joffrey turned up to 10, and here we go. Woo.
It's like Joffrey 2.0. Joffrey 2.0.
You want a sausage? You see my background? Do you want a sausage?
You wiggle it around. It's so crazy. So, chat, let us know. Would you have Ramsay or Joffrey, or both, in your top 10 of your favorite characters? Curious to see what the chat says. So I picked Arya. Now, listen, I absolutely hate the seasons with the House of Black and White. I think it's annoying, and there's characters in there that you'll see next week on my list. But I do think Arya is one of the best characters. I'm not crazy with her killing the Night King like she did, but if I had to pick a second person, it would be her. And I understand that's kind of, I guess, going back and rewatching the show and watching the House of White and Black and, becoming an assassin, a no-face man or whatever, it kind of makes sense that she would do it. I guess the way it was done was a little bit strange. Like, she leaps out of nowhere, and then, he actually catches her, but she still ends up killing. I don't know. And that's a kind of a conversation for another day when we talk about season 8, one of these streams. But overall, I mean, I like her storyline in the first 4 episodes a lot. And then, again, I kind of get lost with her storyline a little bit, but I love her in the last 2 seasons as well. So for me, Arya is number 6.
I can't stand Arya.
I can't stand Arya, but I love Ramsay Bolton.
I know it's like blasphemy to say that. I can't stand her.
Wow. Okay. So why though? And I know we've talked off stream before. I know you hate the House of White and Black Part 2.
Yeah.
But like, if you take that away, like, what is there to hate?
I don't even care for her as an actress. I don't like. Oh, I don't want to be too mean, but I don't find her interesting. I don't care for her character. I think she's a brat. I don't like her. I don't like anything about her.
I want to so change that opinion.
Well, we have time.
I don't have time. No, I would need to send YouTube links of interviews with her and stuff just for you to listen to.
I think if a different person played her, I could possibly like her more.
Wow, that's mad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a little shocking to me too, because I want to see a sequel series with her.
I literally, in the House of Black and White, I fast forward through that. I can't even watch the House of Black and White. I hate it.
But that's not because of her, though.
Yeah, that storyline's stupid. But
yeah, well, and we got to remember, part of the problem with that storyline was that George never finished it. So I don't know if Dan and Dave how much they knew exactly what they needed to do there. We'll find out when the new book comes out in like 2037. But I don't know. I'm a little shocked because I think Arya is a really strong character, especially in the beginning. I love her interactions with Sean Beam, like when she's talking to Ned Stark, and I absolutely love that. I love her interactions in like season 4 when she's with the Hound. I mean, that is fantastic. Like, it was hard for me to put the Hound on this list because I love her. I love the interactions between her and the Hound so much. And
I love her with Syrio Farrell.
And Syrio, yeah, and unfortunately that was
amazing.
Right, and unfortunately that's so short-lived. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, again, it's why we do this, and this, this makes it fun to kind of see what people's different opinions are. But
if you'd have stopped me in the street and said to me, "Does Lily like?" Oh yeah, I would have bet my house on it that she said yes. So I'm learning things today.
Yeah. But like you said, then we both thought you would have had Drogon somewhere in your list, and you don't.
Yeah, exactly. You both could have lost a house betting for me on the list. Yeah, that's true. Maybe just didn't want to be predictable today,
Yeah, I mean, that's true. It's true. And I was kind of thinking that, but I really just went with my favorite. I literally went with my favorite characters. I actually rewatched a video I did. Gosh, I did this like 2 years ago, where I did a tier listing of all the Game of Thrones characters. I mean, it took me so long to do it. And I kind of went back and watched that, and I made some tweaks, obviously, but because I was curious to see what I thought back then compared to how I think now. So, and I'll link that in the description at the description. All right, so you have Ghost at number 6. So tell us about Ghost and why you have him ranked pretty high there. Number 6.
Ghost is the only CGI character that I cared for. Like, the dragons didn't. But I knew they were dragons, and I knew that they were weapons of mass destruction. So when they get killed, it's kind of like even in the playing field out for me. The dogs don't do anything wrong, and when we see a couple of them actually killed in the series, it's heartbreaking, and it kills me. Yeah, it kills me, and I just hate hearing dogs in pain. It's one of the worst. It's one of the worst sounds a human ear can hear, especially for me. And yeah, it's horrible.
When they kill is it who's Rob's wolf?
Lady?
No, not Lady. That's Sansa. The one before at the Red Wedding. It kills me, dude.
Yeah, it's the noise.
It's just you're just trying to get out and trying to and they just come and shoot air. Oh, it kill, and then they show his head, his eyes open, and it's terrible. It's absolutely terrible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so Ghost is the only one that makes me feel something. And later in the show, like when he doesn't pet him, that was due to money constraints within the episode. They couldn't get the CGI to be so close to Jon for him to be able to pet him.
Yeah,
and I screamed at my TV for that, because it's like, dude, you make sure you say bye to that dog before you say goodbye to any other person in this bloody castle. And
that was so disappointing. It really was.
Yeah,
but Ghost is awesome. So.
It's the only CGI that I cared about in the show.
All right, we're going to our top 5. Number 5. So I have Bronn up in my top 5. We have Milky. You have Theon Greyjoy, aka Reek, and Jaime Lannister for Lily. So I'll start first on this one. So Bronn, to me, definitely a top 5 character. I wish he was in it more. And I mean, I think he is in it quite a bit, because when he's not with Tyrion in the earlier seasons, he's with Jaime in the later seasons. I do like him better when he's with Tyrion, just because I think their interactions together are great. But not saying that I don't like him with Jaime, because he's awesome with Jaime too. But for me, I'm glad he never died. And honestly, I can't even remember what happens to him. I think he just kind of goes away on his own. But
becomes the master of coin.
He becomes the master of coin for Bran.
Yeah, he sat at the table and they're asking for ships for the war, and he goes, "Well, I think we should have brothels built before we get warships."
Oh, okay.
He's in the very last scene.
So I'm gonna be completely honest with you. I've only watched the final episode once because I hated it so much. So I've only watched season 8 one time through. I watched the Night King episode twice, but all the other episodes I only watched one time.
Ironically, he becomes the master of coin, the one that's always chasing money through the ship.
And that's probably why I don't remember what even happened to him. So, But yeah, I think he's a fantastic character. I mean, as much as I like some of these other characters, like I do like Jamie, but again, I just couldn't. It's hard to fit him in there, and I like Bronn so much. Every time he's on screen, I make sure I watch. Like if I'm doing Legos or something while I'm watching these episodes, if he's on screen, I stop because I want to see what he says because I love it. It's so funny. All right, so you have Theon and Reek. And are we combining the character? I was going to ask you this earlier. I couldn't. I was going to ask you if you're combining the character, or yeah. I mean, I know he's pretty much Reek through most of the series, anyways. And I was curious to see what you thought. Like Theon seasons 1 through 3-ish, and then seasons 4 through 8, because it's a huge difference.
Theon, hands down, has the best story arc in the entire show from the start to finish. I loved him, hated him, loved him, hated him again, loved him. You know, one of those kind of roller coaster emotional character development storyline. He makes me feel something. You said earlier that you were okay with Arya killing the Night King. For me, if it wasn't Jon, the only other person that it should have been was Theon.
Wow.
Theon was protecting Bran in that courtyard. Theon was the closest to him. The way Theon is killed is pathetic.
I know.
He runs at him with his spear roll, you know, and then it's just a little whoosh, stab. And I was like, oh my God, the dude needed way more than that. Yeah. After the entire storyline he goes through. I gave the CGI character that made me feel something 5th. Everyone going forward is now actual people that just mean something to me in the show. Like from the minute I see Theon in the first episode, when he finds the dogs, you know, and he has the line with Jon that you don't get one, Snow, you're a bastard, you know? Yeah. Brilliant all the way through it. Just a fantastic character.
I thought he was an amazing actor too. Like he had some really, really challenging scenes like throughout as both Theon and Reek. And I thought he was amazing too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I absolutely hate what they did with his character in the end. I get it; he's protecting Bran, but like, it just didn't even make sense. Like, why? Like, he's not. Like, it's not even in his character to go to do what he did to run toward him. Like, you're not going to just do that when everyone's been talking about this guy, this White Walker, for 8 seasons, and he's like, oh yeah, I'm just going to go run at him. Like, it is stupid. You know, again, that is a bigger conversation for a later day, I think. But yeah,
we will literally have a live stream talking about just season 8.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, Theon's a great character. I really couldn't stand the dude early, especially when he turned on Robb like he did. Like, you know, and I understand they kind of kidnapped him and made him live with them and all that kind of stuff. But like, it almost seems like did they ever say actually how old he was when the Starks took him? Was he like I don't know if he was a kid or if he was like
11, 12, 13, something like that.
Yes, I mean, like, you know, I'm assuming he's probably like in his late 20s in the show, maybe. So, but you know, half his life he's lived with the Starks, and then he just turns on him. It was weird, but that obviously gave him the storyline that we needed. So, and then Lily, you have Jaime Lannister for your number 5 in your top 5.
Yeah, and I like him. I think for the same reason Brian likes Theon is that I thought he had one of the biggest story arcs in the show, and it was always, do I love him? Do I hate him? You know, whose side is he on? Really, I'm torn about how I feel about the ending with him. You know, coming back to Cersei, like I get it, but at the same time, I wish he would have finally saw the light and not have gone back to her. But he's amazing. He's also a good fighter, even until he lost his hand. But even after that, he learned to fight again. Before that, I would have picked him as my fighter.
Yeah, if he does not go to Cersei at the end of season 8, and even if he dies still or lives, whatever, he makes my top 10. It's the fact that they ruined his character and they have him just go back to Cersei. Like that. That's right there.
Why you didn't put him on your top 10?
That's exactly why I didn't put him in my top 10, because I love that character, but I hated that ending for him, and it's almost the same reason why I didn't put Theon in, because I hate the endings for them. It's like it was just wasted. Their story was just wasted. I don't know. Like, you go through all that stuff, and then this is how you end it. And I get it. You have to make an ending, but So I blame Dan and Dave more than anything else, I guess. But
Yeah.
I can only watch what I can watch, and that is the main reason why he's not in my top 10.
I hate everything about the ending though. So like that would change everything for me.
Yeah, I know, and that's and not to spoil what's ahead, but like, and this is why I didn't put the Hound on here, because that ending was horrible too.
I love him too.
Yeah. So, you want to say anything about Jamie, Ryan?
I love to hate him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love him as a character. His, again, really hit it the nail on the head. It's basically exactly the same as I said to Theon, his story arc. We're made to hate him from the end of season 1 when he pushes Bran out the window. Oh, you horrible, horrible bastard! Why would you push a little boy baby out of the window like that? And then throughout the seasons, we begun to like him and feel sorry for him. Like that scene with him and Brienne in the baths. Like,
Yeah.
Wow,
Yeah.
what a striking scene. And yeah, you contrast those two: him pushing Bran out the window, and then him in the bath being completely broken and not and his true self. I just love the character arc, but unfortunately, he didn't make my top 10 either.
Yeah,
he's not somebody I think of immediately.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think his storyline really changes too when he goes back to Brienne when she's in the fighting that bear in the pit. Like when he goes back and saves her from that, that's where his whole storyline for me changes. And him and Cersei are never the same as they are like in the season first season, basically, because he gets captured so early on. But like they do push that pretty hard on the audience, their relationship. So it to me, it just doesn't make sense that he goes back. And I get it's his sister and all that, but it just doesn't make sense because of what happened.
Go ahead.
I was going to say he has to just crush his last scene, no pun intended.
Yeah.
But when they brought in Euron Greyjoy too, and he was there with Cersei, and he still goes back. That
Yeah.
But I still love him.
Yeah. All right, number 4. Ryan, you have our boy Ramsay right over here. Lily, you have Tyrion at 4, and I have Headless, or I'm sorry, I have Ned Stark. I have Ned Stark for my number 4 character. So who did we start with last? I can't remember. I think it was me, right? So Ryan, we are on you explaining why he's in the top 4. Ramsay Bolton.
So I said it earlier on. He is Joffrey, but for adults. He does everything Joffrey couldn't do because of his age constraints. He is just immensely perfect with his one-liners, his viciousness. And don't get me wrong, his wacky girlfriend also, keeps up with the scene for him. I can't even remember her name; it passes me. But she was a psychopath. And you will find out next week. My number. I'm not going to tell you who it is, but he is connected to somebody in my least favorite characters. And because of that, he's in my favorite characters.
All right, I like it.
So yeah, he's fantastic. He's a very, very good character. And he's from a show that I watched before Game of Thrones existed. And I like him because of that too, because he reminds me of that show.
What show is that?
Misfits.
Oh, I did read about that when I was searching them up.
So Misfits is about a group of teenagers that are on jury service for doing criminal activities. When they get told off and they get to clean public toilets and stuff like that. Well, they're doing that, and then they get hit by lightning and they get superpowers, and he is one of them. And he's called a misfit, and it's really, really good. So if anyone wants to check it out, and you just said you liked Khal Drogo with his muscles. You didn't think men were made like that. Well, you can go and find Ramsay Bolton in the Misfits with a 6-pack and the chest out and everything. So yeah.
Wow.
I don't know if I'll compare to Khal Drogo, but
no,
he won't do. But you might like it. It's fun.
I always find it funny too because I've always heard that the actor he's like nothing like his character in the show. He's like super nice and yeah. All right, so Lily, you have Tyrion Lannister as your number 4 spot. And so why is he ranked so high? And maybe some people would think maybe not high enough.
That's what I was going to say. If he hasn't made your guys' list yet, he's got to be higher, as he should be. He's awesome. He's hilarious. I liked him from the very beginning. You know, when characters do terrible things, like some of the things he does with his whores and his drinking and all of that, I love all that. You know, that makes him a good character to me. But he has a huge character arc too, and I loved that he changes sides, and you know, beginning to end, he is awesome.
Yeah, Tyrion he's a great character, and obviously Peter Dinklage is just fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
I think we'll talk about him a little later on here. So for me, I took Ned Stark, and the main reason why is without Sean Bean, I don't know if I actually watched this series. Like, he is so good, and he's probably the most recognizable character in season 1, maybe beside Peter Dinklage. I wish he wasn't so ignorant, I guess. Like, he just thought he was almost untouchable at points in the show, and that obviously becomes his downfall. And he's way too loyal and way too trusting to a point for the Game of Thrones, which is why we see what happens to him at the end of season 1. But for me, I love the character. I was so excited when we got to see the little flashback, even though it wasn't Sean Bean, but we got to see the little flashback when he was younger. I thought that was awesome. But yeah, for me, Ned Stark was like the heart and soul of season 1 for sure. And his plot, even though it's short-lived, really is what pushes the show forward. So,
and I don't think he was thought he was untouchable. I think he was just so righteous and being good that he didn't know how to play the Game of Thrones.
Yeah. And that was the biggest downfall. So, I don't know. What'd you say?
Agreed.
It's Tyrion saying agreed.
A wise man once said that you should never believe a thing simply because you want to believe it.
Exactly. What is that?
You're Ned Stark's bastard, aren't you?
It's just an app. It's just Tyrion Lannister.
Oh, it's just an app.
Soundboard.
I was expecting like a little stuffed toy or something, a little plushie.
No, it's a Tyrion Lannister It's a Tyrion Lannister soundboard, but I actually have it on my phone before we even did all this stuff. Like,
oh, nice.
I have loads of characters on a soundboard.
Yeah.
And Umpty has a really good line in the comment there. He said if you took Tyrion out of Game of Thrones, there would be no Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Unless he's talking about Headless, but I believe Ned Stark, not Headless. I believe he's talking about Tyrion in that statement, because that's who I would believe that statement to be true to.
And Tyrion probably played the game the best. He at least he knew. Yeah. Except for maybe when he it goes on trial, but even that's not really all his fault. But he gets himself off with the help of his brother. So, but yeah, all right, so we covered all 3 of those, right? All right, so let's go ahead over. So now we're going to go our top 3. So we'll probably see some similarities here, but I know there's a couple differences still. So number 3 overall, I have Tyrion. Lily, you took Cersei.
You shocked me, says. Oh my god!
Right, I know. And Norky, you took Arya. So we kind of talked about Tyrion a little bit. So here I think Ryan, I think it's your turn to go first. So Arya. So why do you at 3? I was at I think it was 6, and I have a feeling we're going to see her picture again next week, for one of the people on this panel. But yeah, why?
The best female character in the show, hands down, from the start to the entire finish. The best female character, fantastic. Starts as a vulnerable little girl, turns into a deadly assassin. I would have swore then, but I wasn't sure if I could. Deadly assassin. I love her because she's played by Maisie Williams. Maisie Williams is a fantastic British actress. You know, love the girl to pieces. Lily's almost puking with my profanities for her. Just the storyline. Again, it kind of did feel like she was the chosen one. She was handed it. It was given to her with this dagger and all this kind of stuff. And yeah, I don't know. She looks like a little bit like she's got the Harry Potter scar in that photograph that you chose.
Yeah, I think it's from season 8.
Yeah, no, I think she's badass. And go on, Gendry, because you're my boy, Gendry. I love that she even turns that down. She want from the start. I don't want to be a princess. I get Rhaenyra vibes from Arya. Rhaenyra says, "I don't want to be on the bed being a mother birthing children. I want to be out there fighting." That's exactly what Arya was. She didn't want to be a parent. She wanted to be fighting.
Yeah, it's a good. I wouldn't have thought that, but it makes sense how it makes sense how you're saying it, that she's similar to her. So Lily, after you hear him say that for his top 3, what do you think?
Well, I just lost a subscriber, so
I just think everything the opposite. But except when she turned down the marriage proposal, I did like that too. I thought that was a really good moment, and that stood with her character from the beginning.
All right, and then I have Tyrion for my 3rd. It was close. I was teetering on 2 and 3 for him.
What, inches?
What'd you say?
I said inches. He's only small, 2 or 3 inches.
2 or 3 inches, right? Yeah, I think. I mean, he could easily be like my favorite character too. Like every scene, gotta watch it. Like he's great. I was just watching the episode where Varys helps him escape after he kills his father, and he takes him and puts him in a box. He's like, I love it. Viserys is another character that like it's tough to get in the top 10 because there's so many other ones. But like, man, I wanted to put him in there because I do like his story arc as well. But like when he goes, you have no idea what it's like to shove your own shit through these holes, and Varys goes, yeah, I know, but I do know what it feels like to pick up your shit and throw it overboard. It's just great. The whole conversations that those two have. And then obviously and then him and Bronn, and it's just, So Tyrion for me is definitely top 3. Like, I don't know how you could make this list without him being a top 3.
Are all 3 of us confirmed for next week?
Yes.
Yeah.
Can I ask, as a bonus thing, can you guys possibly get me your favorite line from each of your top 10 favorite characters for next week?
Wait, it's going to be our least favorite, though.
Oh, yeah, it's true. I just wanted to know what your favorite lines would have been. We could do favorite and least favorite, but I don't really have least favorite lines. But I know I have favorite lines for each character.
I mean, that's tough though, man. There's a lot of lines. Yeah, maybe let's think about that.
We'll think about it.
Yeah, because I mean, we're already over an hour now. I'm assuming next week's gonna be similar. So if to add more on that stream, maybe we can say that for January or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, maybe do like our top 5 lines, or our top line for our top 5, and then maybe our. Well, I mean, I don't know. Do you really want to do it for the least favorite characters? It might be better to do your top 5 lines from your top 5 characters or something. I don't know. Yeah, we could talk. All right, so now we're so Lily, you have another one up there, Cersei. So obviously you can't have a show without having villains. So you have the 3 main villains, I think, 3 of the 4 main villains up there.
Yes.
So tell us why Cersei is in your top 3, though.
I love her. She also has amazing lines, and she plays the shit out of Cersei Lannister. If I could be anybody, if I could play anybody, obviously it would be Khaleesi. Everybody would want to be Khaleesi. But if my second choice would be Cersei, just because of the character, the role, the lines. She has to say some evil stuff, and she does it so well. And I just think she's amazing. So, like, she's not like Joffrey, and she's not like Ramsay, but she is pretty evil, except for the fact that she loves her children so much, which is her one redeeming quality. But she is smart. Her dad said she's not as smart as she thinks she is, but I think she is very smart.
So let me ask you a question about Cersei. So when you're watching the first 5 seasons or so, like you're saying she's your favorite character because of what the actress and because you like what she's doing, but like when you're watching the show as a fan, are you hating her? You just hate her though?
No.
No. Okay.
I can't
Okay.
explain it.
Okay. Because like I wanted her to die right away. Like
Oh,
when
no.
I first met her, I'm like, okay, we need to kill her off.
Like I would
But
never want her to die until the
okay.
end. Until the end. Like when in what I wanted it to be at the ending, when they would go head to head, I would want her to die,
Okay.
but not until then.
Okay. So so my follow-up question would have been, because it doesn't make sense to even ask it, but I'll just let you know where I was going with this. Is I was going to say was like when you're watching the show, like for me, I absolutely like she's such a bitch. It's just like crazy. But like I was just wondering, like, do you feel bad for her when she goes through everything? With the
Shame, that part.
shame, yeah, everything that goes on with those dudes. What are those guys called? What are they? They're the sparrows.
Sparrows
Yes.
and the High Septon.
Yeah, the height. Yeah, like so. I mean, I guess Ryan, maybe that's
militant.
better. Maybe that's a better question for Ryan then, because since he doesn't even have her on his top 10, like, how do you feel any remorse for her during that scene? Or are you like, hell yeah, you deserve it?
No, I'm spitting at the screen when I'm watching that scene.
You're like,
I'm throwing whatever I've got in my hand at the TV. I hate the woman.
Yeah,
Physically despise her, but she's a great actress and she plays the role very, 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 very well. That she even draws me to physically, like, I close my fists when I see her and I get angry, like, oh, you slimy little,
yeah.
I can't. She plays Lily said a line and I thought she was going to go somewhere else and she didn't. She literally said she plays the shit, and I thought she was going to say out of the Game of Thrones, but she said she plays the shit out of Cersei, which is a perfect statement. But yeah, I think she's the best player of the Game of Thrones.
And she is the reason she got put in that cell. Like, that was all her fault, which that made me irritated that she made a mistake. She did something stupid. Like, you got yourself into this own mess by giving the High Sparrow, or whatever he was called, power. You know what I mean? That was all her fault. It backfired on her. But that was also a good storyline too.
Yeah, the Walk of Shame was a moment.
Oh yeah,
it was her cleansing of getting rid of her sins and all that stuff. I loved it.
Well, and it's good too because you know that, like, it's this is why Game of Thrones is such a good show, is because even the characters you can't stand have to go through things. Like, they're not just all like living on top waiting for the good guy to come find them. Like, even she had to go through her almost like her season or season and a half of trying to get back. And then I think that even makes her become more powerful as she like cuts her hair. And then, she's like, you could just tell she's more of a badass at that point. I was literally just about to say that. Alicent being very similar, like Cersei. And I agree with you 100%. And I think we've all kind of mentioned that already too. We all kind of think that we see those guys go together. So, all right. So now we're going to our top two. So these are our two favorite. And so we have, I have Dany as number 2. Ryan, you have Tyrion as number 2. And Lily, you have Jon Snow as number 2. So, I mean, I don't think any of us can really argue that these three characters are, three of the best characters. Dany, beside maybe, I mean, I don't want to say her storyline. Like, Ryan, you had mentioned that you thought Game of Thrones was about her storyline. I don't know if I believe that it's actually about her. I mean, like, again, it's hard because there's so many main storylines that we have to go through. But I think as we get to like season 5 and 6, it definitely develops into Dany's storyline. Whereas in the beginning seasons, we kind of see her building toward it, but there's so much other things going on. I really think once Stannis is killed, everything turns into basically, when's Dany going to take care of, when's she going to go to the throne? So for me, I mean, I absolutely love her. I mean, she's probably in most of the scenes that I would pick as my favorite scenes of Game of Thrones. When she hands off Drogon to the slave master, and he doesn't know that she even knows how to speak High Valyrian, and she just starts talking back to him, and he's like, "Oh shit, I'm in trouble." She heard everything I said, And when she Dracarys him, it's just fantastic. I mean, it might be my favorite scene in Game of Thrones. I love it so much. And Emilia Clarke is awesome. Like, if I could pick one actor or actress to meet and never have to like be able to meet another one, like I'd pick her because I would love to have that 5 minutes with her because I think she's fantastic. So yeah, and again, I don't like how they turned her character in the end, but for me, I mean, she is Game of Thrones. So.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now it's funny, Ryan, because we have not seen Daenerys yet on your screen,
and you won't,
and we won't. So
yeah, you won't.
Yeah, which is interesting. So why? What don't you like about her?
She's the obvious character for the show. I suppose I'm biased. I have book knowledge and I have show knowledge.
Yep.
She has more pages in the book than anyone else. Her storyline, we are following currently, is the House of Dragon. It's for me, the storyline of the throne and the legitimacy of the throne is Targaryen. We have it in House of the Dragon. It's the succession of who is supposed to be on the throne now, and then we're going to get to the storyline of Game of Thrones, where all that's kind of been forgotten about. But really, the legitimacy still kind of counts because she's still got that claim. That's why she comes across the narrow sea and does what she does. For me, without Daenerys, you don't have Game of Thrones because she's the story, but she's the mother of the dragons, all that kind of stuff. She's cool, but she was too obvious to put in the... I don't particularly like Daenerys as a character. I love Emilia Clarke, but Daenerys, for me, yeah. Huh. She doesn't draw anything. She doesn't really draw anything from me. I don't get excited. I get more excited with Tyrion scenes, and when I'm watching Daenerys, I'm like, "Oh, please hurry up and get back to King's Landing, so I can see what's going on with Jaime." Okay. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of Daenerys.
I mean, so end of season 1, when she walks out of that fire with those 3 dragons, you're like, oh, okay, that's okay. Like, I don't know, like that. That's probably my second.
Yeah, because when in the books she gives birth to the, they miss so much out, and it's just like, yeah, it's cool, Her baby that she has that we don't even see in the show, and it's sacrificed to Khal Drogo and all this stuff.
Yeah,
her baby was grown in the books with actual wings, which was dragon formed, like Rhaenyra's one. And I just think they could have given us so much more stuff with Daenerys, and they really didn't. They just give us. To me, she feels like a Disney princess in Game of Thrones. She's protected by the nuclear power bomb.
Wow.
She just says Dracarys and the world burns. What else does she really do apart from say Dracarys?
He's getting me back for all the things I said about Arya.
I guess, right?
Everybody does things for her. She has all these minions that do the things for her.
I don't even know how to respond to all this.
I'm shook.
I'm controversial. I told you this. I'm controversial with my thoughts. I've seen the show more than 10 times all the way through. I just can't. She gets so much attention in the books. It's unreal.
But you even said it yourself. Like you think the show is about her because she's the Targaryen.
It is.
Huh.
She's just not the best Targaryen. Having watched all of what we've watched and having the knowledge now that we have, my opinion's changed through time. Like, for me, she's the lowest ranked Targaryen.
Wow.
New video, rank your Targaryens.
Oh my gosh.
And she doesn't deserve to be on my top 10. She's not in it at all.
Wow. I don't know. I think every scene she's in is awesome.
Same.
I feel like she has some of the best moments. And I see what you're saying. Like, it's not like it's handed to her, but it's not like she doesn't work for it. I mean, think about where she came from. Then she had to deal with her brother. Then her husband dies, and then no one wants to follow her. And just, I don't know. I mean, I think she goes through a hell of a story arc.
She goes through a hell of a story arc, but she doesn't really do anything.
Doesn't do anything. She saves how many different, like, regions or whatever you want to call it.
Cities. She does all the Unsullied do.
If it wasn't for her,
because
getting them Unsullied,
she made them do all that. Like, it was, they believed in her. Tyrion believed in her for a while. Varys believed in her. Like, Jon believed in her.
Because that's the storyline. Because she's the pure Targaryen that's supposed to be on the throne. That you all fed,
No.
you are drip fed through the start of the show.
That is not correct. They didn't believe in her because of her bloodline. They believed in her because they thought she could change the world and she would not be the Mad King that her father was.
Yeah. And that's why that's why the ending is so terrible. Because it doesn't
look how it ends.
That's the showrunner's fault, though.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. And that's part of the problem with the last 3 episodes is that it doesn't fit our character at all. But it happens. It's just I just think they just wanted to try to do something different. It's hard because we only have the source material that we have. We have no idea how George is going to end this thing. I mean, we may never even know. Who knows?
We will. I think we'll find out.
Yeah, I have faith in him too. I think he'll finish it.
But yeah, I mean, to not say that she's in your, I'm shocked, honestly. Like, I mean, I think she kills it. I mean, there's a couple scenes here and there, obviously, but you can say that with all the characters. Yeah. But I mean, okay, so that was me. So okay, so Ryan, you have Tyrion at number 2. So he's the second favorite character, which I had him for 3. So there's no arguing here for me. And Lily, where did you have Tyrion at? Was it 4?
Oh, Tyrion? I don't know. I think so.
I think it was 4. So I mean, we're all like, we're all like right there with Tyrion. Is there anything else you want to say about Tyrion? Maybe
Tyrion, yeah, Tyrion is in second place because his lines, he has the best lines in the show. He doesn't take first place because that's always going to be somebody else. But second place for sure with his lines. He probably holds my favorite scene, which is I've been on trial for this my entire life, the court scene. Mm-hmm. One of my favorite monologues from him, from his entire history as an actor. He's been in so many cool stuff and had so many cool lines and one-liners. But everything, the ongoing joke about taking a honeycomb and a jackass into a bar, that you never get the ending of, and all this kind of stuff. Yeah, just fantastic. And I like how, I don't know if it's the cameras that they changed, but he almost looks like a different actor in seasons 1, 2, and 3.
Mm-hmm. I think they do that to make him show growth, because it is funny. He looks a lot different in like seasons 1, especially season 1, and then even up to season 2. But once he gets that scar, his hair starts getting a little longer. Yeah, and But I know exactly what you mean. Season 1, sometimes I almost forget like.
Looking at him now, he doesn't look like the same guy that slaps Joffrey in season 1.
Yeah.
But
again,
he just slapped the king and he does it again. It's like,
yeah. I mean, again, I try to find pictures that were like big enough to like they weren't going to look fuzzy. And again, I think this was season 8. I think that was the season 8 picture. But LJ, thanks for stopping in, man. Appreciate it. Baby Ice says, "Wow" to your comment about Daenerys.
Yeah, she would.
Yeah, and then Umpty says that he thinks that Daenerys had much more than Jon did in his opinion.
Wow.
So it looks like Umpty disagrees with you. So we have Lily. You have Jon Snow as your second favorite character. So what is it about Mr. Snow, aka Aegon Targaryen?
I think just from the very beginning, I liked him. Although when I was watching it through this last time, he was starting to get on my nerves with how broody and emo he always is, and how he's always breaking the rules. He's actually quite a bit like Ned Stark, and that he's too righteous. He just happens to be a much better fighter, I think, and that's why he never got killed. And he was at the wall too, so he was already there. But he didn't want to be king ever. And that annoyed me a little bit, but I still love him. At the end of season 5, I almost rage quit the first time I was watching it through. That's how much I like him as a character, that I was not going to continue watching the show after that. But you made me. And so it was all right. But again, the ending, so disappointing. So disappointing.
With Jon Snow's ending?
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, that's the worst part, the worst of it all to me. But we'll see if this new show is coming, which I still don't know if it's fact or fiction. Is the Jon Snow show coming?
It's fact. Daenerys has confirmed it George has confirmed it. It's fact. Just HBO haven't confirmed any of their new shows going forward yet. That's all.
Like, I look super forward to seeing where they'll go with him because he's great. He's awesome to watch. He'd be a fighter for me too.
Yeah, I mean, that's who I pick. All right, so yeah, I mean, I don't think we're gonna have to say too much right now about this because we're about to get to number one. So I saw Umpty said that he said his favorite character would be Tyrion. So if you're in the chat, put it in now. Who would be your number one?
So yeah, how many we got in chat right now? We've got
9 people in chat.
9 people watching. So let's hear what you all think. Who's your favorite character in Game of Thrones?
Yeah, so
that's a good one, baby guys.
Yeah, who is your number one? You've seen, we sit here and listed 9 characters already. I think we've seen basically. I mean, I'm trying to think I don't know if there's really anyone else that maybe won't be in the top slot for us at this point. It's just a matter of where we rank them. But
Anthony Blaze, you just saying you don't know anything is actually a Game of Thrones quote, my friend.
It is. Now that means you have to go. Now you have to go watch it because now you're saying quotes and you didn't even know.
Yeah, you don't even know you're quoting Jon Snow himself.
That's right.
You know nothing, Anthony Blaze.
You know nothing, Blaze. Baby Ice says her favorite character is Jon. Lady Stoneheart has entered the chat. She says Tyrion is her favorite. Let's see. And then we had Tyrion from Umpty, and I guess Jon Snow.
Jon Snow, Anthony Blaze, Jon Snow.
All right. Well,
Umpty says he doesn't even know if Jon would be in his top 10.
Jon wouldn't be in your top 10.
Well, that's why I'm on the stream and you're not, Umpty. Let's hit that next one.
All right, number 1. Here we go. There it is.
And he's on my list.
So Ryan and myself.
She's loving being in a sandwich now, isn't she?
She sent a Jon Snow sandwich. So so me and Ryan picked Jon Snow, and Lily's picking Daenerys. So here, Lily, we'll let you go first since you're a little different. We'll sit back, and Ryan's gonna soak all this in.
Yeah, he can soak this up because I'm gonna say that it's pretty much the same things you said. Like almost every single one of my favorite scenes that are just like kind of scenes are with her in it. I think she's amazing. Everybody was rooting for her, I think, for a very long time, anyways, until she started cracking. But even when she started getting power hungry and going crazy, you still wanted her, I still wanted her to change. There was still that glimpse of hope in there that no, do the right thing. You've known to do the right thing the whole time. You're the one that's going to be different. You're the one that's going, she's the breaker of chains, blah, 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 blah. I wanted it to be different. I'm excited to see how he's going to end the book, actually, and what he would do with the story, because I think it won't be the same. I don't think it'll be the same at all.
I hope not.
I really don't. And I do think he's going to finish it. But she's amazing. She's the mother of dragons, and I love her. And I agree with you that if there was one celebrity that I would want to meet, it would be her, because I love her in other things too. Everything she's in, I absolutely adore her.
Yeah, I agree.
Ryan.
Yeah, I mean, her and Jon are Game of Thrones. They just are. Those are the two characters. You pretty much know watching every season. So many characters die that you are shocked about. But after you get to season 4, you just know these two are just going to make it to the end. They're just too important to the story. In what Ryan was, or I think it was Ryan, or no, actually Lily, you were saying it with Jon, is that however the Jon now. So Jon number 1 for me, it's not even a competition. He's obviously the best. For me, he's obviously the best character. The growth of him is probably, I think he might have the most growth. We see him as just a bastard kid who's just doesn't even know what he wants to do. And then he's well, I don't even want to live in Winterfell anymore. So he decides to go with his uncle. And, go to Castle Black, and we see him as a steward, and he's pissed about that. But obviously, Mormont, he saw something in him, and I just think he think about it this way: he almost he reunites like everything. Like he takes the wildlings and befriends them. Like they were so afraid of the wildlings for how many years? Like we're talking like 1,000 years, or even probably thousands of years. They were so afraid of them. And John's like, listen, they're just regular people. They just live in a different area. I mean, I just love that about him, that he was able to do that. And once Stannis is gone, because Stannis is the one who kind of held him back a little bit from what he wanted to do. Even though when he kills Mance Rayder, it's fantastic. He shows Stannis like, listen, dude, he's like my friend, so I'm not gonna let him suffer. And I think that was a big turning point for the character. And then there's a reason why they all backstab him and they kill him. And luckily we have my girl Melisandre, who Lily absolutely hates too. She'll be on that list next week probably. But without Melisandre, Jon Snow's dead. So you got to remember that, when you're making that list.
I know.
But, yeah, I know. So, but John he's the easiest character to like, in my opinion. He is very similar to Ned Stark. He's more similar to Ned Stark than Robb Stark was. So yeah, I mean, again, for me, hands down, best character. So, Ryan, what say you?
Jon Snow, again, I biased with my opinions because he's in the books. He's, in the books, we know. I knew when he was killed at the wall, it wasn't going to be real. It was going to come back, because I had this knowledge. And then he's just the ultimate dude in the entire show. He bridges the gap between the Northerners, the wildlings and the free folk, and I'd go in a cave with him any day. He is a manly man. He is a manly man. I would go in a cave with him any day over Khal Drogo. Like, take me to that cave, Jon Snow. He's brilliant. Kit Harington is amazing. I love that he put his whole heart and soul into the character to the point that it made him ill afterwards. That was a sign of true acting and just being part of a method actor and being part of everything. So Hojo says wrong. It's Ned Stark, best character ever. Prove me wrong.
That was 4 for me, and he was only in like 8 episodes or 9 episodes, I guess.
It's the most hurtful death, but he's nowhere near the best character at all. In my opinion. But yeah, Jon Snow, you're made to love him. And then he's the prince that was promised. He's Azor Ahai. He connects this whole franchise together with the storylines, with the heritage, with, he is the true Targaryen. He is the one that should be riding the dragons and sitting on the throne over Daenerys. He's older than her, so therefore has a more legitimate claim. Yeah. Until Jon dies, then it's Daenerys's. And I don't believe going through this entire story that we follow Daenerys, and then Jon Snow gets given at the side, and then we have to choose. That's what I don't like about how the story goes.
Yeah. I mean, he does say several times, though, because we had mentioned this already, that he doesn't care about being the king. Like, he's good with her doing it. Like, and that's just I think that's another positive for his character, because it's like, when I think he does what he does because he knows there's no choice at that point, because she's crazy. She's literally turned into the Mad Queen. And yeah, I mean,
it's all Dan and Dave though. That's all Dan and Dave. That's not. Yeah,
it's just hard because I would love to do this. I would love to do this again, like when we know the real ending, to see if any of these main characters would move any bit. Because I just feel like
we can do book club. I'm hoping we can do book club when the book comes out.
Do book club. There we go.
Yeah, like I've read the first chapter. Where are you up to?
Yeah. I mean,
yeah. Exactly, Michael Price.
And Lily, you had him at number 2, so obviously you like him as much. So what's the main factor that you picked Daenerys over Jon? Would you say?
Well, his broody emo-ness the whole time, that kind of nagged on me, but also the fact that for him being so righteous the whole time and always doing what was right and what was good for everyone, to at the end just disregard being the king and not wanting to do that and not wanting to take that responsibility kind of bothered me, because he was always sort of the responsible big brother that did the right thing. And I get it. Like, finally, I'm done here. I've done enough, basically, is what he did. But I felt like he should have done what was right, and he was what was right.
Yeah, but that's also hard too, because remember, he had a relationship with her. I mean, they were pretty much in love, and
I don't mean over her, but once that was done and he realized she was crazy and he had to do what he had to do, then
but it wasn't his choice to leave.
Well, he didn't want it at all, though. I think if he would have said, I'm the rightful heir to the throne, and you know what I mean? Like, I want this job, I feel like that would have made a difference. Although, like, it's so hard to talk about because they screwed up the ending so bad that it's like, where do you even go with that? But
so you hate the episode, you hate the final episode, but do you agree with what John did was right?
Yes.
With what happened in the storyline we were given as a viewer?
Yes.
She was the Mad Queen. She burnt out all those innocent people. He had to do what he had to do.
I think he had to kill her. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm
but
happy
after
with your
that,
yeah, I don't care. I'm happy with how you perceive the show then, as long as you know that that's the right thing that he had to do.
Yes, it was just everything after that, when, like, with Bran and Sansa and everybody else, I was like, oh, jeez.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, he had no other choice.
And then what they do with him? Go back to the wall. What?
Like, so I'm trying to remember. I mean, I'll get there eventually because I'm in season 5, but like, I can't remember now who actually sends him to the wall. Is it Bran?
Yeah.
And is he doing that just because that's what the council wants?
Yeah.
It's just what happened. It's not really what the council want. It's Greyjoy. Greyjoy wants. Is it Greyjoy? No, it's Grey Worm. Grey Worm wants him dead.
Mm-hmm.
And Grey Worm sails to North, and it's on the impression that John is to go to the Wall, on Grey Worm's word, because if he doesn't see John sent to the Wall to live out the rest of his crimes, then he's not going to leave. And that was just a way of getting him to leave.
Yeah. I wish John and Grey Worm would have fought.
Yeah, I do too, and I believe we might get that in Snow.
I started hating Grey. I like Grey Worm for the most part, most of the seasons, but I hated him in the last season too. As another character, I hated.
That would be good.
Yeah, that would be a nice villain for him too. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so so that was fun. Top 10 next weekend. Next Sunday we'll be doing the top least favorite characters. Hojo says, I want the undead frozen zombie people, aka the White Walkers, to burn it all down and take the throne and make the dragon crown of it all.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's have frozen Drogon take the crown.
You know where Drogon burnt the crown, right? Burnt the throne, right?
Burned the throne, right? Yeah. So
because Bran's got a wheelchair, so we needed a mobility ramp instead of steps to get up.
Yeah, Drogon knew what was going on. He knew.
Drogon's still alive.
Drogon is still alive, and he took Daenerys' body. What do you do with it?
So she could come back, you know.
So quick 2 minutes predictions on what you think this Jon Snow story could be, or what you would like it to be.
I like the idea of maybe Grey Worm coming back, and maybe he finds out Jon comes back to Winterfell, because right now who's in Winterfell? Is it Sansa?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So Sansa, she's Queen of the North. You know, maybe something happens where maybe Sansa dies off screen or something like that.
Or she gets a little power hungry, because she was always a little hoity-toity too, and thinking that this is another thing that I don't like about Sansa, is that I enjoy her on screen, but she, because of who she was born to, she always felt like she had a right to be somebody too. And I just don't agree with that whole, it's because of who my dad was. You know what I mean? That's why I deserve this or that. That's why I thought that needed to be broken. That was the one thing I liked about the ending and putting Bran there, even though I'm not a fan of that, was that it doesn't matter who, like, you didn't have to be the next Targaryen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I like Umpty's saying he thought the story was going to be his time with the Wildings, but it's Umpty, it's still going to be it's still going to be a sequel to Game of Thrones, though. It's not like going back in time or something like that. I mean, I'm sure we'll see that. We would probably get a few episodes with Jon there and showing exactly what he's doing. But I would like for him to come back for some reason. Again, maybe it's Sansa's died, or maybe someone captured her. I don't know, something like that. Something that has got to make him come, and then maybe Grey Worm gets wind of all this, and that's kind of like
maybe he'll fight Arya and kill her.
Who, Jon?
Yeah.
Wow. In the books, at the very early beginning of the books, it is never confirmed, but kind of hinted at Arya and Jon have a relationship.
Ew.
Oh,
I heard that
I know,
before.
right? Yeah, I know, right? That's sick. But that's what happens in the books. So when Lily says he might go and kill Arya, that's crazy to think. I'm kind of biased because I've had so many other people's thoughts in my head of how I would like the show to go.
Yeah.
I would love for Daenerys to come back to life. I genuinely would. And I would like it to be because Drogon has taken her to her. Because we don't get an answer for her in the show.
No, we do
That's
not.
true.
Quaithe.
Never.
We don't get an answer for Quaithe. So if Drogon has taken Dany's body to Ashai, where she is, where the Red Priestesses are from, we could have some blood magic. Daenerys comes back to life as an evil Daenerys, goes and haunts Jon. Jon starts having nightmares of Daenerys coming back. Tormund winds him up about it. You're having nightmares about your blonde woman again, boy. Things like that. I think it'd be cool. And I don't know, maybe Bran is being possessed. I think part of the Night King is in Bran. And now Bran is the new Night King, kind of being possessed.
I always thought that a little bit too. It ended so abruptly with the Night King, and I'm like, and then you'll find out next week about what I think about Bran. But yeah, I mean, I think that'd be awesome. At least something,
Just give me a release date. I don't care if there's no trailers. Just give me a release date.
Yeah, just like a little 30-second teaser. It doesn't even have to be footage. Just give us something. Yeah, I really hope so. Lily, what do you think? What would you want the Jon Snow series to be about?
I really don't know. Like, I'd like Daenerys to come back in some way too, but I don't know what I want to have happen with them. You know what I mean? Like, that's where I'm conflicted. But I think Sansa has to be in it, and Winterfell, there still has to be part of that in there. Arya went west of Westeros to see what was out there. So even though I dislike her, I'd like to see what's west of Westeros. That would be cool to add on to it. And I don't know what I want to see Jon do over there, because I was I know that's what he wants, but I was very unhappy with him just going into the woods.
What I want to see, I'll tell you what I want to see right now. I want to see that they're in, I guess it'd be Castle Black, and they are all drunk. And Ghost is laying next to Jon, and in between Jon and Daenerys, and they all wake up and they're like, "Oh shit, the Night King's coming!" And we start fresh. And give me the last 4 episodes again. That would be awesome. Let's redo it. They're all drunk, and it was a dream.
Oh, that's great. Redo.
And then Ghost wakes up and starts howling because he hears the Night King coming. Instead of Ghost running toward all the White Walkers, and magically somehow he's like the only one who survives that. Like, what is that? Oh, dude, I'm telling you, January we're gonna have to do a stream on season 8. We're gonna have to do it because there's so much. It's so bad.
I'm sure we could find a couple of week gap where we could literally break it down week for week like we do, because it's good.
Yeah, and then all the freaking Dothraki. They all just run with Ghost, and they're just like dead. Like, it's so dumb. Like, I actually like the idea that they dug out that pit to make it fire, but like it didn't even end up mattering in the long run, and they spent so much time on that. But I don't know. But yeah, listen, I just want more Game of Thrones. I mean, I would love for them to redo that. I would love for them to redo episodes 8 and 9 of Star Wars. There is a lot I would like. I would like for everyone to smash that like button right now and subscribe if you haven't. That's even better. Let's see. We have another comment here. Umpty says, I'm sure it's going to make sense. Oh, yeah, here we go. Kent will be there, and it's only understandable that the Jon Snow series was all of his idea. Yeah, I mean, I think he's the one who's kind of writing it almost.
Yep.
Ooh,
Him and his
what?
flatmate during COVID got together and wrote the entire show.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, really. It's a real thing. They really got together and wrote it. They lived together throughout the whole of COVID and came up with the whole show. And then when they were allowed back outside, they went to HBO and pitched it, and they said yes.
Hojo.
Episode 1, Snow dies, and then every episode is him random day-to-day situations or comedic and stuff. But by all we know, that some thought he will die. No. I will not see Jon Snow die in the Snow show. I will see Jon Snow crowned at the end of the Snow show as the true rightful king of the 7 islands, or even 6, depends whether he marries Sansa for the royalty or not.
I mean, you saw Dexter, right? He was the star too.
I mean, I guess technically he's not really. I guess technically, when you think about it, though, he's not even related then to Arya.
No, I know. That's what I'm saying. He could marry Sansa to reunite the kingdoms.
Yeah, he's not. Yeah, I mean, yeah, he's not related to either one of them.
And then she'll be happy because she's with somebody that's not going to hurt her. Don't get me started. Come back next week to find out what I really think about Sansa Stark.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Least favorite. That might be more fun than our favorite, honestly. All right. So what time is it? It's almost. Oh my gosh, you guys! It's almost 9:00. I have another live in 40 minutes. Come check me out. We pinned the comment up to the Luau. I will be live on the Luau at 9:30. So please come check that out.
Ask him all of your awkward and hardest Star Wars questions you can.
Yep. Put those questions in the chat. I will crush the trivia. I don't know.
Have fun.
It's been a long time.
Just like Andor crushed the network ratings.
Did you see that? They said Andor beat Game of Thrones or House of Dragon now. I'm like, no. I don't believe it, dude. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. Andor's terrible.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. I appreciate you all hanging out. Lily,
thank you so much.
Hanging with you. Headless, same again.
Yes.
All right.
No
See you
problem.
next week.
All right.
I want to show you something, so don't go anywhere. If you have to go,
don't-
cool. But I want to show you something backstage. So.
Okay, yeah, don't go anywhere. All right, we're closing this out. Check me out on the Luau. Tomorrow we are talking Willow, episode 1 and 2 on Ryan's channel between 7 and 8 Eastern. We will have a detailed slideshow. You know you love them. And we have a 5-minute intro, I believe, too, tomorrow, which that's even better. Baby Ice, thank you. Awesome live. Yes, thank you so much. I appreciate it. If you're watching this on the replay, be sure to leave me in the comments. Leave me your top 3 Game of Thrones characters. And then I'll kind of look through those. I'll look through those comments. So, anyways, we'll see you guys tomorrow on Ryan's channel, and I'll see you in about 45 minutes on the Luau. Take care, everybody, and don't forget, stay milky.
Keep those heads on.
Light your fire. I don't know. I don't know if you have a sign off or anything.
No, I have no sigil yet.
What'd you say?
I have no sigil.
I hear you have no sigil yet. All right, we're working on it. And like always, don't forget, keep those heads on.